Hey guys, it's Tamara. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Welcome. Today we're going to talk about compassion, fatigue, and burnout. Oh my God, I've had so many emails about this, and a lot of people want me to talk about this, primarily the families, the parents, and the caregivers that stay in contact with me. So I figured today would be the perfect day to talk about it. So thank you so much for coming back to my channel. For those who are subscribed and for those who are not, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button so you can stick around with us, learn, grow, and suggest topics. The benefits for you in today's video is that I'm going to clearly define and separate what burnout is versus compassion fatigue. All right. So let me just start off by giving you guys just a little bit of background about who I am, and especially for those who may be new to my channel. So I have 12 years experience as a mental health therapist. I started my career working with adults, and then I went to rehabilitation centers, where I worked with older populations like the geriatric population. Then I kind of graduated, and I'm like, you know what? I think families, parents, and caregivers is kind of the niche that I need to be in. So I got into the field professionally based on that, okay? But I also got into the field because of myself and my family. My family, you know how families are, they're complicated, there's trauma, there's intergenerational trauma, there's a lot of dynamics there. But for me personally, when I was going through college and grad school and internships and all kind of rigorous training, certification programs, licensing, all of that, guys, I struggled with burnout. I had gone to college for 3 years. I was in an accelerated program. I graduated my third year in college, it was like almost halfway through my third year I graduated, and I went to grad school my fourth year of college. And so technically I only spent 1 year officially in graduate school, because I went to grad school in my third year of college, and I got all the degrees that I wanted to get, and I specialized with child, adolescent, and family mental health. I burned out, guys. I burned out. I went to college and I went to grad school. Then I did 3 years of internship. Then I got my license. Then I went to the International Association of Trauma Professionals, and I got 5 certifications in trauma, and I burned myself completely out. I had no idea what burnout was. I heard people say, I'm burned out, I'm tired. And I would be like, yeah, I think I'm burned out too. I really didn't realize that I was burned out until I was really burned out. And what happened was I became very mentally and emotionally exhausted, and I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I couldn't do what I loved to do. I felt numb. And I think a lot of people who are experiencing the initial stages of burnout, they feel that same exact way. So let me start by educating you guys to what burnout is. So burnout is a cumulative process, right? It's a process where over a certain period of time, stressors have accumulated, right? So here's the stressors, and it keeps accumulating until it gets to a place where you can no longer tolerate it because you're at your max. So burnout is a cumulative process. It's emotionally and psychologically exhausting. You begin to have this state of enthusiasm about your position, whether you're a caregiver, a therapist, some other kind of a doctor, or, you have a really stressful career, right? Or a job. So you're kind of enthusiastic about it. But then that enthusiasm that was way up here starts to come down a little bit. And then you experience what's called the second stage of burnout. The first stage is enthusiasm. Second stage is what's known as stagnation. Stagnation is when you kind of start to feel stuck in your position and you don't know where to go, right? You want to go up. You may know that you want to go up, maybe you don't, but for the most part, you want to go up, but you can't get there. You're stuck for whatever reason. And in situations like that, you go through the process of stagnation. So you feel helpless almost, Then the third stage is frustration. So you bump down a little bit lower. So now you're frustrated. You don't know what to think. You don't know what to do. You just want out, right? Then you bump down to the final level, and that's the lowest level, and that's the fourth level, known as apathy. And that's basically when you're numb. You feel nothing. You obsess, you ruminate. You start to feel very emotionally and physically exhausted. You feel absolutely nothing for the position you're in, for the person you may be treating. There's a major block, and that's primarily because you are exhausted. You're completely burned out, right? You may have to take some time off, and everybody differs in how long they need to recuperate. For me, it was an entire year before I could get back into work, certification programs, and really being passionate about my career and my patients, my clients. So that is burnout. So let's box that away and put it over there. All right, let's move over this way and talk a little bit about compassion fatigue. What is that? So I'm certified internationally in compassion fatigue clinical work. And one of the things I acknowledged about compassion fatigue when I was going through the certification process is that it's really similar to burnout, but it's a tad different. And here's why. Compassion fatigue is more of a rapid response to listening to or working with somebody who's dealing with trauma. It really is vicarious trauma. It's watching somebody else's trauma and taking in the physiological, psychological, and emotional parts of that trauma for yourself, right? It's like taking somebody else's burden and putting it on your lap, and you're sitting there saying, you know what, I hear what you're telling me, I see what you're going through. I think I'll just take that burden from you and I'll just hand it up for a little bit. If you can imagine being a therapist, a psychiatrist, where we have to sit in a position of listening to multiple patients and clients throughout the week, sometimes back to back to back throughout the day. I have clients come in back to back. Like there's not even 1 hour where I can maybe just sit and eat something. I got to change that, guys. But I don't get that chance, right? I snack and then I go to the waiting room and I grab my next patient or my next client. Or, I phone them, or we do online sessions, teletherapy, whatever it is. I never have a break. And a lot of therapists and psychiatrists do the same thing. They see clients back to back to back to back because they have so many. And so when you're dealing with that kind of situation, you're in the trenches with a lot of people that come into your office. And so let me give you another example too. So like as a caregiver, you're also dealing with that, right? So let's say you have a family member that has a physical disability. You're going to have to be with that individual day in and day out, maybe 24/7, maybe bathing them and feeding them and clothing them and talking to them and so forth. And that begins to take a toll on you. It begins to make you feel emotionally overwhelmed. And so people who are literally engulfed and engaged in a traumatic situation with another individual, they begin to, again, they take the burden off that other person and they put it onto themselves. So it's a rapid response. Compassion fatigue is a rapid and quick response to trauma. And you can literally start to feel trauma take its form on you or control of you right after you listen to a traumatic event. So you may start to feel tension in your back. You may start to feel like a rubber band around your head, right? You may start to feel your heart rate going up. You may start to feel faint, like you're going to pass out, right? You may start to have nightmares or flashbacks of something, right? So, you may start to have like flashbacks or some kind of emotional response to the trauma you just heard. That's compassion fatigue. Now, let me give you a few signs of compassion fatigue, all right? The first sign is indifference, right? You become indifferent. You're not quite apathetic, but you're indifferent. You say, well, I don't really know what to feel about this. Like, I really don't even know. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to feel. I don't know, right? So you're indifferent. The next stage is there's an inability to empathize. You've been so burned. You've been so drained. You've been so emotionally and psychologically affected and impacted and influenced by that vicarious trauma that you can't even really empathize. You're numb in a sense. Okay. The next is what's called sympathetic nervous system dominance or arousal. So fight or flight, starts to go off when it doesn't need to. You begin to feel like you're in that fight or flight stage. And you may feel this more so than not. That's the problem, and that's the main issue with compassion fatigue. You're feeling like you're in this state of fight or flight when you shouldn't be. It kind of kicks on almost like a broken signal, you know? It's not supposed to be there, but it is, all right? The next is emotional exhaustion. You feel so tired that you can't even muster up the strength to fake it, right? You know that saying, I absolutely hate that saying, fake it till you make it. Some people actually do that. They fake it until they can start to feel what they need to feel. But it's hard to do that with compassion fatigue. When you're burned, when you've experienced vicarious trauma, when you're exhausted, it really, really is difficult to fake it. People are going to know that you're tired. I remember when I was burning out, I had different ones say, you sound so tired. My mom used to say it all the time, you sound so drained. And I did. I had like this lag in my voice. You know, I was just tired and I needed a break. I didn't realize I was draining myself. And so a lot of people with compassion fatigue and with burnout, they drain themselves. They kill themselves, basically. And they don't even know that they are doing it. So, you know, is this you guys? Can you relate to this? Have you experienced this? If so, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for being with me in this video today. I encourage you to give it a thumbs up if it was helpful for you and share it with somebody that might benefit from knowing this kind of stuff. I think one of the most beautiful things about community is that we can support someone who's looking for information. We can validate, we can support, we can educate. That's one of the reasons why I started this channel. So I think this video kind of takes us back to the roots of why this channel was started. It's to say, hey, look, I've been there, you've been there, we're all in the same boat together, right? No matter where you are in the socioeconomic pool, no matter where you are in your life, the age pool, the cultural pool, we're all in this together. So go ahead and share it with somebody who may benefit, all right?